Bread is a symbol of sharing, and bread is something that most cultures have, or they have something very similar to bread, which is something that you break, and it's used almost as a staple, and it forms the basis of a lot of meals. And often bread is, for me personally, bread is something that I like to make because I can use my hands, and when I make it, my children like to eat it, but they won't eat commercial bread. They won't eat bread that I buy, but they will eat bread that I make. And then all my friends, they like to come, and they always say when we go for dinner somewhere, please bring bread that you've made. So bread to me is really about community and family. And so I think it's a really nice symbol, for community.
Bread is one of those things that no matter what country in the world you go to, from the richest country to the poorest country, you find bread. And I think bread is just something that's very basic, very human. Almost a little bit like, the first thing a child does is makes a sound, and the next thing a little baby does is eats bread. And I often think babies, for bread, I often think of babies, because every baby, no matter where you see them, they always like bread, and it's probably their favorite food. And also old people, who are at the end of their life, you often find that the one thing that they seem to always go for all the time is bread and maybe tea or bread and water.
Today we will share everything what we have the best in our hearts, and this food, we will share the food, and food is the essence of Lithuanian life sustaination. And I think that the most valuable thing will be not to think about ourselves, but to think about others. So we have very good chance to forget ourselves and to think about others, about our friends, about community, because others will feed us. So we will feed our friends, and others will feed us. So please forget yourself, think about others, think about people, about the world.
Duona iš tikrųjų įdomus maistas, nes ją vieną gali labai ilgai valgyti, ir visą dieną, ir visą savaitę, ir net kasdieną valgyti, turbūt nieko kito taip negalim valgyti kasdieną kaip duona, reiškia, tai yra kažkoks toks tikrai paslaptingas, keistas maisto patiekalas, kuris yra niekada nenusibostantis, kuris kažkoks yra pagrindų pagrindas.
I have the feeling like when I eat bread, like I am at home or something like this. It's very familiar to me.
Bread means for me family, friends, and mostly breakfast. Nuchenaji be nanuna moyo nyibe egbecho dono le Togo Togo to no be nenye duka bloyo nyokro no view myanye America. In Togo we mean like when you are eating a blow, what is mean bread in corn bread, it mean you are sharing a part of your history with this person.
Today I met two people from Brazil that I hadn't seen for maybe 3 or 4 years. So when you break bread with them, it's like saying hello again and knowing that you're reconnected, even though you haven't had any contact for a long, long time. And I thought it was so interesting, you know, to have people sitting in the street, just as she uses this phrase, breaking bread. I thought it's a nice way to connect people.
Tai iš tikrųjų ne tik duoną mes dalinamės, nes galima tą duoną, reiškia, taip perduoti ir valgykit, bet mes ją teikiam per šventes visada, tai reiškia, vaišinkysim ir tuo pačiu tada duona jau ir duona tampa tavo dalim ir tu savo dalį, savo šilumos perduodi per tą duoną ir linki ką nors gero. Tas stalas irgi suvienia visus žmonės, visas priešybės ir kas priešais mus sėdi ir priešingas lytis, viską į vieną ir tai tas projektas tampa tokio bendravimo simboliu.
It seemed like a really good project for us to be involved in, something that we really wanted to do. And the nice thing was it was something to do here that meant we got to meet a whole lot of people that we wouldn't meet otherwise, which was really nice. The idea behind it of creating a sense of community is a really good project, even if it's only for now and for the small amount of time. All of these people have talked to one another and they will go away and they will tell other people that they have done this.
Bread means for me the daily food for everybody in each country. Sharing moment. It would have been interesting to give a place to a real discussion about the different bread made and where they come from and in which condition they are made in the country, and if it's the bread for the daily dish, or if for a special moment like a wedding, or if it's a bread that you can buy in everywhere, and what is the place of this bread in the society, if it's for example expensive or cheap, if everybody can buy it easily. So I think it's important to share all these elements all together and to have a more social, economical and political discussion about the place of the bread in the country. The process of baking food, baking bread with people from different countries, from Brazil, from New Zealand, from France, from African countries, it's very, very interesting.
I wish that people would talk to each other more, and I think that parents should talk to their children, and that old people should talk to young people, and that different cultures should talk to one another. And I think that talking is an incredibly important thing that for understanding one another, and that really as a global society we don't do that enough, that we use imagery and text and written words a lot, and that we have in many ways lost the facility to be very oral and to talk to one another more, and that we get narrower and narrower, and instead of speaking to you and asking you directions, I will look it up on the internet, and so you lose all those sense of connections because people are too scared to speak to one another.
Linkiu dalintis ir turėti kuo daugiau dalintis, tuo daugiau turėti kuo dalintis ir kad niekada nepritrūktų tom, ką galima dalintis.